Hey there, how you doing? Charlie Winters here with horse racing tips for Friday the 26th of December. Well, it's Boxing Day, so I'm going to give you quite a few selections. So what I've had is, I've had the main, well I say it's the main, I've picked 6 horses in a 10p each way, lucky 63, and I've looked for really big prices. And then I've gone for a win, lucky 15, but as well as the win lucky 15, I've then had the same selections in a pound each way, fourfold. It just makes it up to a 5. So it's a 20p win lucky 15 and a pound each way accumulator. And then the other bet I've had is 15 pence each way lucky 31, and those are more fancied selections but still decent prices. And I have also overlapped a couple of the selections. So this bet you're looking at now is a 10 pence each way lucky 63. I'm not really going to go too much into the selections, so here we go. So the first selection is Tapley at 18 to 1 in the 12.45 at Kempton. This horse has ran on this card for the last 2 years, once over hurdles, once over chase fences, and once again over chase fences in this race. So it's recently been ridden by an amateur jockey, and the name slips me, but it's now ridden by Charlie Dush. It was ridden for, I think, only the first time, or the last time, sorry, not the last time. It was ridden quite a while back. Well, I think I'm losing the plot. It was ridden a year ago by Charlie Dush. I don't think he's ever ridden this horse before or after, but it takes the mount again on Boxing Day, which is quite odd. I don't know if it was Isabel Ryder, but it's been ridden by an apprentice jockey quite a few times since, and over generally distances shorter than it wants. It then, I think with 2 runs to go before today, it was upped in distance, and it came back into a little bit of form because I think it preferred the step up in distance. But I also think that they wanted to just about qualify it for this race because it's come in right at the bottom of the handicap, which is, I think, is quite interesting because they've basically snuck it in the race by lowering its handicap mark significantly anyway by running it over a distance that's too short for it. Then just to run it into a little bit of form before this race, it looks as though they've upped it in distance just to qualify it for this race. And now it has done. It's off a low weight in a decent race. To be fair, it may be a little bit out its depth, but I do think that 18 to 1 is far too big a price. So that will also be my selection on Britain's grumpiest old gits each way bets. I do have a number of each way bets, but I do think this is one of the more interesting ones. But saying that, the next selection is Gilbertina, or Gilbertina, I think it's Gilbertina, at 20 to 1 in the 1.15 at Market Rasen. So this horse is now running over the larger obstacles, chase fences. It is a Market Rasen specialist, however, generally over hurdles. If it's got a liking for the course, they're paying first 3 for, I believe it's 7 runners. This horse shouldn't really be 20 to 1. I do believe it should be a shorter price. Hopefully it can sneak a place. The next selection is Ballino Boy in the 1.47 at Market Rasen. So you're going to hear me go through them quickly because certain horses I will have forgotten the reason why I like them. But generally what you will find is, if I can't provide an explanation, it normally means that they're well handicapped. That will generally be the alternative reason. And such as Heretier, 16 to 1 in the 2.35 at Sedgefield. I also think this horse is well handicapped. The next selection is Made Me What I Am at 9 to 1 in the 12.27 at Wetherby. This horse is quite interesting. It's Big Boy Barney. It's 11 to 1 in the 1 o'clock at Wetherby. I do believe this horse has been stepped up in trip. It was held up at Ludlow. Ludlow is a very, very fast, sharp track. Speed favouring, and it was held up, and the fact that it wants further and held up over shorter, I think that it was given a bit of a. I don't want to sound, when I say hard race, I think it was a race to get race fit. It was put into a race. It was held up where really you'd want it to be more prominent because I think it wants further, which hopefully proves on Boxing Day because this horse has been stepped up in trip. This horse is the best horse in the race. I believe it's number one in the handicap, so it's the best horse in the race. But I do believe it hasn't always ran to its full potential because it's not quite got the right conditions. I believe these are more favourable conditions on Boxing Day, so I do fancy Big Boy Barney. So that is the first bet. So I'm going to click off that. Then I'm going to click on this. So this basically just makes it easier for it to see. This is a 20p win, lucky 15, and £1 each way accumulator. So the first selection is Minella Drama at 9 to 2 in the 12:30 Aintree. I'd like this one to go straight to the front. Hopefully it gets an easy lead. I do believe there's more to come from this one. I think Skelton's got one in this race, but I do think that this horse, if it gets an easy lead, it will be quite difficult to pass. And I do think this horse is quite well handicapped as well. The second selection is Indiva Blur at 2 to 1 in the 140 at Aintree. This horse is another one similar to the one I mentioned previously, a Big Boy Barney, where I believe the step up in trip will suit it. It's done okay over shorter, but I just think, I won't say it seems slow, not at all, but what I'd say, I think it's quite hard work over this shorter distance. I think the step up in trip on Boxing Day, I think the speed it's shown already over shorter will benefit it over this distance, and I will still think it will run right through to the line and finish very strongly. I think it's crying out for at least this distance. To be fair, it's 2 to 1 favourite, so I'm not telling you too much that you shouldn't really be able to work out or hear for yourself. So the next two, I just think it's a big day, and who comes to the top when it's a big day? It's Willie Mullins. I do believe the next selection, it's not the best horse. It's the best horse in the race on figures over hurdles, but this is chase fencing, and it only won okay on its debuts. And the horse is called Kits Boohal. Oh, it's probably called something else to that, but Kits Boohal. 7 to 4 in the 120 at Kempton. I don't quite know how they're going to run this horse because I do believe it made all on its debut over chase fences. I might be wrong. It was at least prominent. I'd probably like to see it prominent again. I'd like to see it go straight to the front and get an easy lead, but you don't always get that. They'll all be looking to beat this favourite and hoping that, obviously, with beating this favourite, they beat the rest of them. But I just think Kits Boohal, Willie Mullins. I always seem to get him wrong at Willie Mullins, but what I would say is there could have been so many other horses that he could have ran in this race if he wanted to win this race. So I don't see any reason why this horse can't win it. I think it's got a decent chance. And we don't really know. We haven't really got to the bottom of that horse yet. One horse we do know quite a lot about, although it's still running extremely well, is Gaelic Warrior. This is in the 2:30 at Kempton. And this is the King George. Well, I think this horse, many times in the past, you've seen it race prominently. More recently, it's been ridden with a bit more restraint. Excuse me. This is a tricky one, really, because I think it's just between the fancied horses. I love backing outsiders, but apart from Jello, I can't really see any other outsider that's really going to trouble them. I did look at this race, and I can't remember exactly what my conclusion was. This selection, I think it'll be too good on the day. I believe Henderson's got the favourite. I just can't touch Henderson horses properly yet. I think he's not been doing a great deal for a long time. Don't get me wrong, he's still made hundreds and hundreds of thousands in prize money every year, but I don't trust him since he withdrew his horses at Cheltenham. There just doesn't seem to be right. And Constitution Hill, what's going off with that? Nico de Boinville, what's going off with him? It's like there's so many question marks for me. I think he's ready for retiring, if I'm being honest. Not because he's a bad trainer, because things just don't seem right in the stable. I'm not saying virus. I just don't get it. I always remember Nicky Henderson. He always used to, whenever he got an horse in a bumper, he always used to win normally. Nah, it's like, where are they all? So anyway, so Gaelic Warrior at 11-4 in the 2:30 at Kempton. I don't fancy the Henderson horse. I think out of the two William Mullins horses, between Fight to File and Gaelic Warrior, I think Gaelic Warrior is the best, and I think it's more likely to show its running. Jello could be in each way danger, but I just don't think Jello's quite good enough for this race. So the final one is also fairly decent price selections again, but some of these are more fancied, and I've also chucked in the I did say the horse called Tapley, that the very first horse I gave, I do believe I've only backed it once, and I will stick to only backing it once. I'm not going to have more on because it's been that, because it's a big price, and I've picked plenty of big prices. I'm not just going to chuck another couple of. I wouldn't say it's been nab. I just chose it because it's one of the more interesting ones. So let's get into this bet. So it's a 15p each way, lucky 31. The first selection is Believe It and You Can at 13-2 in the 3:40 at Kempton. It's paying first four, that is. The second selection, I like the look of this one. It's quite interesting. I think there's a bit more to come from it. Raffles won, and then it said Raffles Rooster. Or it was called Rooster Booster. And then it said Raffles Booster, thinking it was Champion Earl. Right, I'm losing the plot. Raffles Wonder in the 12. Raffles Wonder at 12-1. I'm tired. In the 11:45 at Sedgefield. Heretier again in the 2:35 at Sedgefield, 16-1. Made Me What I Am, 9-1 in the 12:27 at Wetherby. And once again, Big Boy Barney at 11-1 in the 1 o'clock at Wetherby. That is a 15p each way, lucky 31. I shall pick the football selections. So this is Christmas Eve when I'm choosing these selections. The video will be out Christmas Eve. So if you're watching this, it was released Christmas Eve at about 5 p.m. The football AI tips will be provided on Christmas Day, because I've not got a great deal to do Christmas Day. So yeah, it'll probably be provided by probably about 9 o'clock Thursday morning. So if you're seeing this on Christmas Eve, Merry Christmas everybody. If you're seeing this on Christmas Day, Merry Christmas everybody. If you're seeing this on Boxing Day, good luck. Anyway, I wish you the very best of luck. Charlie Winters, over and out. Cheers, mate.